So I first made the video on Beyond Meat about like 2 days ago. And since then, we had a massive spike in price around like $6. And by all definition, this is a short squeeze. But the question we're going to try to answer in this video is the short squeeze over or will we see higher prices? And I'm noticing some interesting things on the technical that didn't show up around like 2 days ago when I first made this video and posted it. So we're going to go over all that information and I'm going to give you a price target for how high I think the stock can go. So if you remember in this video, you can go back and watch this video because pretty much all the information that I gathered in this video, it still stands. And I gave it a price target of, I told you that it would at least trade up to this 200-day moving average, which pretty much spot on it did. So like we go back to the daily chart and pretty much exactly like I said, because I saw that gap, it would trade up to that 200-day moving average. But once it blasted right through that, that's when we got kind of a mini short squeeze. And again, in good conscience, at that time, I couldn't tell you exactly how high the price was going to go. And again, it wouldn't be responsible or make sense for me to like give you a price target because you saw like in pretty much a matter of day, it went all the way up to like almost touch $8 and dumped, which is typical of how a short squeeze would work. Another thing I told you in that video is that if we take a look at the short float is incredibly high. It's still incredibly high. But the short ratio is the days to cover has gone down because more volume came in. So short sellers, because there's more volume in the stock currently, would be able to cover their positions faster. So that's why I didn't want to give you like a price target like, oh, it could possibly go to like $6, $7, $8. I think that would have been irresponsible. But pretty much my price target that it would at least come up and touch the 200 moving average was hit, and you could have taken advantage of that price point. So please make sure if you're not subscribed to this channel, subscribe to this channel, and please give this video a like. Let's try to get this video to 100 likes. And also, I want to iterate one more time that this is not an undervalued stocks that I typically bring you, but I think this is an interesting short squeeze. There's some new information that came out that this squeeze could potentially go on for a long time. But again, I want to warn you that this is not trading or financial advice. This stock could become very volatile. Like for example, let's go back to the 45-minute chart real quick. So at this point, you saw like this huge gap. And if you had gotten in around $6, like you wouldn't be able to cash out in time before this dump. And this is typically normal. Like around like $1.47 when I brought you that stock and I told you like, okay, it could go up like 100%. You had some room to like, cash out. Maybe you wouldn't wait till exactly 100%. Maybe you cash out at 50%. But when it becomes this volatile, yeah, it looks nice, but it's hard to catch it exactly. So please don't put any money in that you're not willing to lose because this stock can get very volatile. Please be smart. Please do your own research. Take this information and gather information from other people too if you must, but play it smart. This stock is going to be very volatile, but I will still show you what my potential price targets are. Again, with this, it's kind of like 50-50. I'm not as sure about this stock as I would be with other undervalued stocks. So the short float is still very, very high for this stock. So the question is, did all the short sellers cover? And whenever something like this happens and a stock moves up like from almost like 50 cents to $5, what also happens, what's on the backdrop of that is a lot of hype on different social media sites, especially on Reddit. So if you go to this subreddit like penny stocks, and this is only one of them, there's like at least like 5 other like subreddits where everyone's talking about Beyond stocks. And as I'm scrolling down, you can see like one post after another, one post after another. It's just like beyond, beyond, beyond. Everyone's talking everyone's talking about the stock. So what this is going to do is going to bring in more eyeballs, more attention to the stock, and more retail investors coming into the stock, which will, I believe, continue to drive the price up. But as you know, like on this channel, what we try to do is use the technicals to gauge what's a good entry and exit point. So now I'm going to show you what the technical is looking like, what I'm seeing on the technicals. So if you want to gamble on the stock, again, this is a big gamble. This is going to be very volatile, but use the technicals as your safety net. So first thing, I'm on the 4-hour chart right now. And as you can see, this 200-day moving average is actually acting as a major, major support. You see this right here? This 200-day moving average is acting as a great support. So for the 4-hour chart, turn on the 200-day moving average and I drew a line there. So I can go back to the 45-minute chart and you see even earlier today, it came right back down to like around that price point and bounced right off of it, And on the 45-minute chart, we're getting potentially what could be a golden cross. It doesn't look very good yet, but potentially going forward, this could be a nice golden cross. But this 200-day moving average on the 45-minute chart is acting as a great, amazing support. If it breaks that, boom, okay, all the fun's over. Potentially see the price go all the way down to like $1.50 again. So keep that in mind and watch that. But now I'm going to show you something else. So this is what really changed my mind about this stock. This potential short squeeze could go on for a few weeks and not just end this week, is this right here. So we go to the weekly chart and voila, look at this. We got a buy signal on the week. This actually blew my mind. We got a buy signal on the weekly chart. I did not expect this at all, especially when I made that first video back here when I was trading at $1.47. It was looking pretty terrible on the weekly chart, but here you go. We got a buy signal on the weekly chart. But now what we want to see for this to solidify and that the short squeeze is not over by any means, and I'm going to give you my potential price target, is that we want to see close above this 50-day moving average on the weekly chart. So by Friday, we need to see the stock close above $4. That's for sure, 100% for sure. We have to see the stock close above $4 by Friday. Then, along with this buy signal on the weekly chart, is a really good sign that we are going to get at least 1 or 2 more weeks of potential short squeeze. From here, depending on how violent the short squeeze is, okay, the $15, like it could trade up to this 200-day moving average on the weekly chart to test that price point. But even if it does, I think it'll just be like a wick. You see this wick right here? It would be like a wick right like this. So it would be hard to catch it. I think what's more likely is that if we see the price go up to right here. So right here, this was on the weekly. This was previously acting as a support. And now after it broke the support right here, whatever happened over here, it's been acting as a resistance. So pretty confident saying that, okay, there's a few things. Again, it doesn't just happen because I said a few things have to align. So the first thing is a great sign that we got a buy signal on the weekly chart, which is incredibly positive and strong, especially considering like this massive volume that came in this week. And if we go to this chart, you see like we haven't had a buy signal since 2021 on the weekly chart. So this is a big deal. So we haven't had a buy signal on the weekly chart since 2021. So we got that for the first time in like 4 years. Great sign. We have to see this price close above $4 by Friday. If it does that, the next week you can expect fireworks. And if the price starts to rally, my price target would be around $10. And the way I came up with this $10 is because previously, when I was trading on good volume, this $10 was acting as a resistance. Once the squeeze starts, this $10 will be the first price point that it tests. And you can see, like, we're taking a look at the weekly, there's no resistance until this $10 price point. So that is my personal price target. Again, not 100%. A few things has to come together. For example, the price has to close above $4 by Friday. If it does that, then next week we can expect some fireworks. We can expect this short squeeze to come back and go test this $10 price point. If you want to play it safe, I'll reiterate one more time because I don't want to see people cry and whine in the comment section. Only put money that you're willing to like at least take a 50% loss because this stock is going to be so volatile. Like even if you're not going to be able to catch the top, you're not going to be able to catch, if it does go up to $10, you're not going to be able to catch it exactly. And there's a possibility that it could blow past $10 or maybe it'll just trade up to $5 and then boom, a huge dump and come right back to like below $3. So it's going to be very volatile. So please don't put more money than you're willing to like lose. Like just make a small bet. This is a pretty much a gamble at this point. But I want to show you that on the weekly chart that I thought was like very fascinating that we got a buy signal on the weekly chart for the first time in 4 years. And another thing I want to show you, look at the failures to deliver for Beyond Meat. Could be the reason for why the short squeeze is going to continue. Not only do we have a massive failures to deliver, like if we take a look at the cost to borrow. So how much does it cost the short sellers to like borrow this stock? So right before the short squeeze started, look at this. It was like over like 200%. It was like around 100% for like the past couple of days. October 19th, October 20th. So let's take a look at the date. Let's go to the daily chart and see when that was. October 19th, right here. So around like right before the short squeeze started. And it went back down. It went back down a little bit. and then it went back down a little bit. But look at this. As of right now, as I'm making this video, the cost to borrow is going back up. But not only is the company shorted to hell, like over 50% shorted, new short sellers wants to come in. It's extremely expensive for them to short this stock. So we're going to continue to see more buying pressure, and we're probably going to continue to see more short sellers start to cover their position. So usually, so so this is the hard part to like kind of determine when it comes to like figuring out exactly what's going on. So here, definitely a lot of short sellers that cover their position. That's why we had this like insane jump in price. But I don't think majority of the short sellers have covered their positions yet because they figured like something like this would happen, like the price will dump. It also depends on when they did short the stock. So just taking a look at the chart, it's easy to determine maybe majority of the people shorted the stock around like say this price point right here because it's been trading sideways. So let's go back to the weekly chart because it's easy to see. So this price point right here, it's pretty safe to assume that majority of the short sellers shorted the stock around say between $4 and $2.50. This is where like majority of the short seller maybe started shorting the stock. So any price point above this is where they're seeing a loss in their position. So you can imagine as the price starts to go up, they're going to have to cover their positions or put up more collateral. So that combined with this buy signal and the Reddit hype, the insane Reddit hype, and the fact that the cost to borrow is so incredibly high, the short quote is so high. Verdict is that I think the short squeeze is not over. So let's keep an eye on the stock. It takes a lot of time for me to do all this research for you guys and make it into a video that's palatable. So please just do me one quick favor and like this video, and please leave a comment and make sure you're subscribed to this channel. So that was it for Beyond Stock. Let me know if you want me to keep you updated on the stock, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.